You know, it's been a while since we've had a proper arcade racer that truly scratches that old Burnout itch. The high-speed crashes, the chaos, the freedom to just blast through a city and cause absolute carnage. That's something we've all definitely missed. Well, it looks like Wreckreation might be trying to fill that void. Made by the team at Three Fields Entertainment, the same developers who brought us Dangerous Driving and before that, Burnout itself, this game is being billed as a spiritual successor to those classic arcade racers. Now, I've been playing an early review copy, and a massive thanks to THQ Nordic for that, and today we're going to dive into everything, the good, the bad, and the chaotic fun that comes with smashing cars at 200 miles per hour. So buckle up because we're heading into the world of Wreckreation. So what is Wreckreation? Well, Wreckreation releases on October 28th and is an open world arcade racer that mixes racing, stunts, and full-on creative freedom. Think of it like Burnout Paradise meets Trackmania with a dash of Hot Wheels Unleashed. You're not just racing, you're building your own world and tracks. The devs describe it as mix your world, and that's exactly what it feels like. You can drop ramps, loops, pipes, and obstacles anywhere, literally anywhere in the massive open map. There are over 400 pieces and objects, each with multiple variations, so the creative potential here is wild. You can build roads that snake up mountains, dive into the ocean, or launch into the sky like some kind of physics-defying coaster. And once you've built your dream stunt park, you can share it with the community or invite friends to drive through it with you, or wreck through it with you. One of the coolest parts of Wreckreation is the level of customization. From the start, everything is unlocked, which I love. You can change paint colors, wheel types, finishes, boost flames, and even your horn sound. Want a muscle car that roars like a jet engine and shoots pink flames? Go for it. Want a sleek racer with gold glass and neon wheels? Done. There's a sense of creative freedom here that goes beyond just performance tuning. It's not about realism, it's about the personality. And since this is an arcade game, that freedom extends to the gameplay. You can change the weather, the time of day, and traffic density on the fly. One moment you're racing under a sunny sky, and the next you're drifting through a thunderstorm at night. The fact that all of this can be changed instantly makes experimenting feel effortless, and it looks gorgeous while you're doing it. The world, or as the devs call it, your mix world, is massive. Maybe too massive. It's a huge open map, filled with roads, highways, off-road paths, and forests. The issue is that there's basically no variety and a lot of empty space. The game is going for a Burnout Paradise vibe in basically every way, but has seemingly forgotten one of the most important parts of what made that game special. The map, Paradise City. I've spent hours driving around, and aside from this random place that has some dinosaur statues, for some reason, everything is basically the same. On the one hand, the scale is awesome for creative building and exploration. On the other hand, when you're just trying to find action or get into a race, the travel time can drag a bit. I appreciate that they're going for a customize your world kind of vibe, but that doesn't mean that the standard default world they give you has to be so empty. Just for reference, you can fast travel to parking lots and petrol stations you've unlocked, but aside from that you can't just fast travel to events, you do have to drive quite far across the map. Still, when you're flying down the road at 200 miles per hour, dodging traffic and smashing billboards, it's kinda hard not to smile. So let's talk about what matters most, the driving and the crashing. Wreckreation borrows heavily from Burnout's DNA, takedowns, slow motion crashes, boost meters, the whole works, you know how it is by now. But it's not just a copy-paste job, the handling is heavier and weightier. Cars feel more grounded and less floaty than Burnout, which certainly takes some getting used to. At first I actually found it a bit clunky, but after a while I appreciated the added control. You really feel the momentum when you slam into another car, and crashes have that satisfying crunch you expect. One aspect of the handling I could never get to grips with, however, is the drifting. It's incredibly janky when it actually works. It really takes some momentum away from events as you grind to a halt hitting into side barriers because the drifting is fundamentally broken. You can never seemingly drift perfectly. You either hit into a barrier or you understeer, and there doesn't really seem to be an in-between. Another issue though, road rage events. Those challenges where you take out as many cars as possible, probably my favourite game mode in gaming history, can somehow feel underwhelming. The game doesn't spawn enough opponents to keep the action flowing, which can make the event drag. Sometimes you will run out of time simply because the game spawns the next CPU opponents so far away, you could never reach them in time. There's also a penalty mode version of Road Rage where one car is off limits, and if you accidentally hit and crash it out, you'll lose 10 seconds of time. It's a neat idea, but in practice it kinda kills the pace, because the penalty car follows you so quickly and intensely that it's almost impossible not to unintentionally take it out at some point. It feels like an unnecessary handicap in a mode that should just be pure chaos and fun. Still, when everything does occasionally click, when the traffic density is up, the boost is flowing, and you're chaining takedowns, it's that classic arcade adrenaline rush, and it's every bit as fun as you remember. It's just a shame that it takes so much effort to get to that point, because the amount of times I found myself restarting events before I got a perfect run was just ridiculous. Where Wreckreation really stands out though is in its creation tools. You're not just racing, you're DJing the whole experience. The devs call this mixed modes, and it basically turns you into the game master. You can make your own events, races, stunt challenges, team games, anything really, and then instantly jump into them with friends. The editing tools are surprisingly powerful. You can snap pieces together like Lego, drop in huge ramps, moving obstacles, or even floating highways in the clouds. And if you just want to experiment solo, you can pause time, drop a new stunt ramp in front of you, and keep driving. It's seamless, like the game never really stops. It's almost sandbox racing, and I think that's where Wreckreation finds its unique identity. It's not just about competing, it's about creating fun. But the issue is, there's a single player mode as well. A single player mode that's gone for Burnout Paradise when they've also created this whole sandbox experience. So it kind of feels like they've tacked two pretty much unfinished games together and just called it a day. It needs to stick with one and create a full identity around that, or find a way to mix the two, because as of now it doesn't really work that well. The other big part of the game's personality is its soundtrack. Wreckreation includes its own FM radio system with 16 different stations, everything from disco to gospel, jazz to movie soundtracks and classical music. It's a cool touch that adds that Burnout Paradise flavour, where music helps define the vibe of the drive. Obviously there's no iconic DJ spouting off one-liners and terrible jokes, but we can't have everything. Some stations are genuinely fun to listen to and others are weirdly eclectic, but that's kind of the charm. My biggest gripe though is the progression. Unlocking cars in free roam takes way too long. After completing certain events or gaining a new license, just like in Burnout Paradise, a CPU opponent will start to drive around the open world for you to find and take down. Firstly, it takes so long for them to spawn anywhere near you. Secondly, for some reason, they are so unnecessarily awkward to take down when they finally do show their face. You spend ages boosting to catch up to them, even if you're in an objectively faster car like a race car chasing down a pickup truck, it will still take you ages, and when you finally catch up, you've got to ram them so many times just for them to flinch. The reward loop could use a bit more energy, maybe more frequent unlocks or a clearer path to getting new rides that doesn't involve me driving around for half an hour in the open world doing nothing. Right now it feels like you're spending more time hunting than racing. Wreckreation also tracks your best performances in a few different ways every time you drive, things like top speed, biggest jump, longest drift, and these are tied to the roads and areas themselves. Much like Burnout Paradise. You can lock your best times or scores to a road so friends can challenge them later. It's a fun, social way to keep the competition going. Plus, again, much like Paradise, there are billboards scattered everywhere, but this time there are three types. There are ad breaks, which are simple smashables, promotional stunts, which need specific tricks in order for the smash to count, and rectaculars, that track your best stunt score. It's a nice way to keep players engaged as they explore. Wreckreation is one of those games that doesn't just want you to race, it wants you to play. It's chaotic, creative, and genuinely fun once you get into its rhythm. But it's not perfect. The huge map can feel way too big and way too empty, road rage events could use more intensity, and progression needs some tweaking. But as an arcade sandbox, I still think it delivers. The combination of building, driving and crashing feels unique in today's racing landscape, and if you have been missing that Burnout energy, like I have, this is the closest thing you're going to get to it without just playing the games. I've had moments in Wreckreation that reminded me exactly why I fell in love with arcade races in the first place, that mix of chaos, speed and joy. It's not a flawless return to form, far from it in fact, but it's a passionate, creative one, and it's easy to see and to respect what the team at 3 Fields has built here. If you've ever wanted to build your own stunt paradise and then crash through it at 200 miles per hour, Wreckreation is well worth your time. So what do you guys think of Wreckreation? Are you going to pick it up? Are you going to play it? Or are you going to give this one a miss? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe and tap the bell for notifications to stay up to date with my future uploads. A massive thank you and shout out to my Patreon subscribers for the continued support, and all I really have left to say is thank you and bye bye.